safe, but they're stuck. And also adding, I thought Devereaux White was really good as Lucky when he gets, like, I thought he was really cool in this movie. Then they strap King James' brother to the door so they can't bust through the door. That's the only way in. So I thought it was pretty neat how they covered every angle of it without seeming too cute about it or too, oh, this is what's happening right now. But they still tell you, but it doesn't feel gratuitous.
I have kind of a question. I watched it twice. What exactly happens? At the beginning, it's a cold open of the businessmen watching a video. What exactly happens in that cold opening?
Well, isn't it what Goose shoots one of their guys in the head, and they were filming it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So video films Goose, so then they bring Goose out there. They bring Goose, Lucky brings Goose out there, and then they plan on killing Goose. But once they knock Goose down, they see Vince, because he's a dum-dum.
Yeah.
And all hell breaks loose.
So Goose did not have Lucky at the beginning. Like, Lucky was just bringing him out there.
Yeah. Because to set him up.
He takes Lucky hostage, and then they get Goose, and then Lucky's then hostage again. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, Lucky was kind of like, let's say you mess over my family, and I'm like, hey, Bryce, man, you want to go for a ride? I'm going to go pick up some stuff, and then whatever. And then we go full Sopranos, and you run through the woods, and then I have to chase you all night while it's freezing. I like that setup. I liked how they dropped down. I like Tiny Lister and his metal cleats, and how those served as a pretty cool plot device later on. I thought that was really neat. That's cool stuff. Like, that's economical, funky storytelling. Like, so what happens? I don't know. I guess if you're listening to this, you've probably seen Trespass, but if you haven't, William Sadler and Bill Paxton, Bill Paxton, they drive from Arkansas to St. Louis. They go into this place. They use this metal detector. They start tearing up the floor, but then they realize it's in the ceiling. When they realize it's in the ceiling, when they're trying to see where Tiny Lister, played by his name is Cletus in this movie. Cleet. Oh, brother. So then they find his metal cleats, but then they also find the treasure in the film. But what's frightening is that Tommy Lister Jr. is the one wearing cleats. Like, those should go on somebody smaller. Like, it's horrifying knowing that Tony, he doesn't need that gimmick. That just makes him infinitely more frightening. Right?
Yeah.
Like, give those to Moon or Davis. I do not want to deal with Cletus with cleats.
Some of these guys, they had their weird tics about them. Of course, we have a video camera. We have cleats. Mm-hmm. Wiki's device is looking like a dancer from Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation video.
He was good as a cop. How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah. I love that scene. Yeah. Savon was angry. Savon was the, not quite right-hand man that had a lot of ambition, which is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And then Raymond was what did they call him? Superfly?
Yeah.
Savon called him Superfly. He was kind of the snake in the grass, Raymond, but everyone knew it, and they still called him because they need him. Raymond's that guy you don't want to deal with, but when you need him, you kind of have to.
Yeah. I think maybe he thought he was the star, too.
He gets a lot of camera time.
Yeah, rightly so. He knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, he's great.
Snake in the grass. Great cast.
Well, I mean, but think about it though. You're these guys. You're in a Walter Hill movie written by Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Hey, the Bobs. Oh, brother. The Bobs, the Ices, and the Bills. All in this movie. It's pretty impressive. But you'd want to be in this, right? If you're Ice-T looking to act and you hear that you're going to be with the Bobs. And this is when Zemeckis was kind of at his pomp, right? He wasn't even at Forrest Gump yet. This guy was kind of crushing some movies. I don't know, Walter Hill, I know he hadn't had major hits. Like, he had another 48 Hours. But it seems like a no-brainer to be in this movie. And I like that one big part that they kept talking about this film was that Ice-T and Ice Cube got to change a lot of the dialogue in it to fit them. That would be pretty funny, though, if they stuck with just the dialogue that Bob and Bob wrote.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would love to look at the original script to see how it was kind of set up. I mean, the movie kind of gets a lot of people say this hasn't aged well. I think it ages fine. There are some kind of weird racial things, but I think they were time appropriate. It was kind of part of the zeitgeist at the time. I don't know.
Will Sadler his comments towards Art or Bradley, like Will Sadler and even Bill Paxton. Remember when Bradley calls him he's like, you redneck, and then Vince loses it on him. But Sadler kept messing with him about the drugs, and like he said some mess. Like Sadler's Don was definitely a racist because the stuff he was saying was like very stereotypical. But Don's not the hero of this at all. Don's kind of the villain as well. Don is a villain.
No, everyone's a villain.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a good thing. That's a good part about this movie. Yeah, there's the scene where Bradley is explaining to them, "No, it's gold, you idiots. It doesn't rust.
Yeah,
it's pure gold." He must have learned that in a pawn shop.
Oh yeah, when he said that to him. Oh, yeah, that was, I guess. Yeah, you could tell Don's a dude from Arkansas, and I'm not hating on anybody from Arkansas. That's a bad thing to say. But Don's a guy who just has never dealt with black people, probably, and he's just using stereotypes, and he probably has zero interaction, and he's just being like he's horrible. Like he treats Bradley really bad in this movie, and I love that. Screw it, I'm gonna say the ending. Like Bradley gets away with the gold because that was his place. I mean, it wasn't his place, but he lived there. They tore up his floor. You had the people from St. Louis coming in who he didn't like, the villains coming in. Then you had the other looters coming in from Arkansas. And I kind of like the ending. I feel like if anybody else walked away with the gold, I would have been annoyed. So I'm happy that Bradley got away with it after all the crap he had to go through.
Definitely. And how else could it have ended? But I guess there are quite a few endings shot for this movie. And I definitely chose the best one.
I want Raymond leaving with the money.
Raymond, just like evil always wins because good is dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I like about Raymond though? You have I mean, think about it. King James, he really did put his entire crew at risk. Now he didn't know this, but these guys lie. I mean, once they get his brother, but he's in a tough spot. But then he was in a tough spot because I mean, your brother's tied to a door. But then his entire crew got killed because of his brother, but yet he is the boss. And he never saw it going this way. Man, this is tough. But I just like that. I like that Raymond shows up. Raymond is always Raymond. He's not playing games. He actually he does play games. He messes with Savon's head. But I like it. Yeah, evil wins. Like, I'd love for at the end, he packs up all of his guns, puts them in his trunk, packs up the gold, and just drives away. That would make me happy if Raymond won. Because he's the true... Like, He's pretty comfortable with himself. He's not trying to be anything else other than Raymond. I like that about him.
Does King James never really finds out about the treasure, does he?
No. Ice Cube Savon only learns because of Raymond. Because Raymond's playing him. But yeah, he never knows.
Yeah. They do have... Yeah, the cops come, and then there's the suspicion. Why didn't they try to contact the cops? You know, there's a little bit of suspicion, but I don't think our Savon has that suspicion ahead of time. And then I don't know if he relays that to KJ.
Communication just falls apart, doesn't it, between everybody?
Well, I mean, King James gets into the room and, you know, half the crew knows that Lucky dies. Sorry for the spoilers, everyone. Lucky accidentally gets shot by Luther.
Who's smart and leaves.
Who's smart and leaves in a scuffle, so he gets out of there. And then half the crew knows, and then the other half doesn't. King James finally gets into the room. He's like, "Oh, brother's dead. Now I'm gonna go crazy." And there's gunshots, and that's right at the end of the movie, too.
Yeah, he and Sadler kill each other. Or Bill. I'm going all over the place. Don. They kill it. There's a lot of people shooting each other. Savon and Raymond shoot each other. And then King James and Don shoot each other. They could have... But this is tough. I have a question. I know you're not a criminal mastermind. Or maybe you are. I don't know. I haven't seen you in a while. You're King James. How do you handle this?
I don't know. This was a question I was not prepared for. So my brother's strapped to the door. See, people have kidnapped him. It depends on how successful, how much of a criminal mastermind I am. I feel like I could just came down to it, I could pay them off if I was that big of a businessman. Just like, we're gonna leave you alone.
I'm gonna drop 20,000 through this door.
Well, drop 20,000 through the door, and then we're gonna leave and drop 20,000 somewhere else or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Give me your address. We'll send it to you.
They have no. Yeah, they have no. The two firefighters have no reason to kill Lucky if the other guys just go. But yeah, there would be the whole problem of they don't know how to get out of town. They don't know if their car's good. Bill Paxton finally gets back to the car and he's like, "Oh no!"
Raymond took care of that.
Raymond's popped his tires and everything.
That was kind of a rookie move, leaving those, but they're rookies, leaving those newspaper clippings in there so that Raymond could find out. But they're all making not rookie mistakes. You know what's interesting? Once again, with Judgment Night, they talk about rookie mistakes, but I don't know if they're mistakes when you've never been in a situation like this and life and death is on the line. Because you and I, sometimes I have a hard time picking which IPA I want to drink, and it freaks me out. So imagine being in this situation. You're not going to make the smartest, most well-informed decision. So I guess me saying it's a dumb idea to leave that in there, the article in their car is probably I wouldn't say it's a dumb idea. They just weren't thinking that they were going to see some businessmen murdering a guy named Goose.
Well, yeah, and in Judgment Night, they do have it is more based just on whoops, wrong choice.
Yeah.
Wrong choice the whole time. But here, they're very intentionally oh yeah, we can just go into this building and start digging up the floor and start messing with this guy's bed and just tearing it up.
And then they beat him up and say a bunch of horrible things to him and tie him up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then ask for his help.
And then he learns about the money, and then he learns about he plays them too, though. I love it. And actually, I just dig all the diehard people in this. You have Devereaux White, you have William Sadler, and then you have one more. There's three diehard people in here.
Raymond's, or was Wiki in?
Oh, man.
I feel like one of them were in the crew in Die Hard 2.
Yeah. So I like that though. There's three dieharder folks in this, and it's funny that you say that. When I like when Lucky tells him, you guys, whenever you white guys come into this section of town, you're always here to mess something up.
Yeah.
And these guys show up just whamming this dude's apartment. And now it's quite the coincidence though that they picked the one guy's place who was there. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But it still ratchets us up that and Bradley, he's from the second one. He's the guy that works at the airport.
Yes.
That's what it is.
That's correct.
There's the three. So we have Bradley, Sadler, and Devereaux White. But 1 and 2. I wish John Leguizamo was in this movie. Then we could have more Die Hard too. I digress. And William Atherton. Imagine Christopher McDonald and William Atherton instead of Bill and Bill.
Just like two shitty dudes.
Just two jerks.
Two jerks. Two guys who are really good at playing jerks.
Let my brother out. No. What if actually KJ should have had video shoot Vince's wedding because he said he was going to propose soon. He just shot the heck out of that for free.
Yeah. What do you think happens in the aftermath here?
Oh gosh. Hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll discuss what happens on the aftermath. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and we're talking about the aftermath of this movie. So, Bradley, the problem with Bradley is I don't know if he has the resources to actually go get $1 million worth out of this gold. I mean, he's definitely going to get hit. So, $1 million is going to become 100K for him. Mm-hmm. But it's still 100K more than he had.
Yeah.
So he's going to go pick up 100K. I was thinking about that. How is Bill Paxton? So Bill Paxton lives, but he doesn't have his truck.
Bill Paxton lives.
It's not his truck, though, so that's good. It's Will Sadler's truck. Mm-hmm. But his buddy's dead, and he was supposed to be on a training mission.
And I'm not sure what the dynamic was. I kind of thought they were supposed to be maybe brothers